Alright, folks, we have come back. Let's start the next case thanks to Asilva, Vivian, and Daniela. This is case number 16 of 60 in this Mysteries of the Past monkey business. Matthew, the mayor has declared a state of emergency. A giant ape has escaped its cage into the streets of Concordia. The ferocious beast is said to belong to Professor Ernest Picklebrain, a revolutionary scientist who conducted multiple experiments to spur its inexplicable gargantuan growth. Now, Madeline, surely the ape cannot be as big as all that. That is where you are wrong. Word has it that this creature is as big as a house, which is why it was to be presented at the World Exhibition. I'll be honest with you, Matthew, I do not feel comfortable around savage animals or biological oddities of any sort. Even plain old horses give me the willies. But you are right, we have a duty to this city. Let's visit the cage the ape was kept in. Hopefully we can find out where it is headed. Oh no. Key. Ace is probably already finished with this scene already. Dear God! Not only has the beast escaped, but Professor Picklebrain is dead. Could the gorilla have done this? No, you're right, Matthew. Look at his mouth and neck. It looks like Professor Picklebrain was poisoned, and that means this is murder. Could his killer have set the gorilla free, hoping the ensuing chaos would throw us off their trail? I have to admit, Matthew, the size of this cage and that giant hole in the wall make me a bit apprehensive. I did not expect the creature to be this big. But that means it's more urgent than ever to track the ape down before it can do more damage. And that giant key might help us do just that. Retrieving the writing on the tag may give us the name of whoever was in charge of keeping this cage locked. As for these blood-stained gloves, they could put us on the killer's path. There's not a minute to lose, Matthew. Let us gather a sample. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna get some stars, so sit tight, folks. Okay. I'm gonna examine the blood now. Let's do this. Eight. Good job collecting a sample from the blood-stained gloves the killer left behind, Matthew. Let's have Viola take a look at it, post-haste. This is 3 hours. If lost, please return to Willie Conklin. Matthew, the message on that keychain... Matthew, the message on that keychain reads, if lost, please return to Willie Conklin. The size of this key makes it clear it matches the giant gorilla's cage. We must talk to Mr. Conklin right away. We all need the help we can get to track that beast down. Mr. Conklin, we found your keys to the escaped gorilla's cage. You of all people should be able to help us stalk this giant beast. Indeed, sir. I am Kiki's handler. I feed her, I bathe her, I clip her nails, and hum rainforest lullabies to her whenever she feels homesick. But now the master's dead and darling Kiki's out there, all alone. It just breaks my heart. It's going to break more than your heart if we don't stop that gorilla soon. Now, do you have any idea where it is headed? I'm afraid I don't know. I was just fixing Kiki dinner, a tasty bowl of fruit, leaves, termites, and caterpillars, when suddenly, bang! I felt a blow to the back of my head. Then I fell on the ground and must have fainted. When I woke up, the cage door was open. Kiki was gone, and the professor was dead. So you have no idea where the ape could be going? Matthew, we cannot dawdle here any longer. We need to go back to the airship and devise a plan to get hot on that beast's trail. What a to-do, Matthew. We have a dead body, a giant gorilla on the loose, and talking to Mr. Conklin turned out to be of no use at all. Matthew, the giant gorilla has been spotted. It's atop the exhibition tower. Matthew, we need to go there. Although I'm completely mystified as to how we can capture such a beast, if it is colossal as rumor has it. Matthew, I got just the thing. Rose, surely you're not suggesting we kill this poor creature? Certainly not. This gun shoots tranquilizer darts loaded with a drug powerful enough to put 3 elephants to sleep. Your giant ape doesn't stand a chance. Tally-ho, Matthew. To the street we go. Matthew, there the ape is. It's on the tower. I've got it in my sights. We just need to move a little closer. Giant ape. Megaphone map. There we go. Nah, not my best score, but I don't care. Still learning the ropes. I got it, Matthew. It's fallen down. With the amount of tranquilizer I just hit it with, this ape will sleep for a few hours. Matthew, I cannot believe how surreally, atrociously, impossibly gigantic this ape is. Thank God Rose knows how to handle these things. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Even the exhibition tower proved sturdy enough to survive being a gigantic gorilla's temporary jungle gym. But what shall we do with the ape now? Let me handle this. I'll ask around and try to find a lockup with a big enough cage to host our furry beast. Well, Matthew, now that the giant ape has been captured, we can focus on solving Professor Picklebrain's murder. We had better take a proper look around the street. And we gotta do it again. There we go. Oh, and a notebook. Here we go. This agenda you found belongs to a certain Catherine Wolf. She's that journalist, isn't she? You work your magic on that lock, Matthew. And if this wheelbarrow has tickled your fancy, let us have a look through it. We have captured a giant ape, Matthew. Now it's time to catch a killer. Four, 4849. One, 2231. Three, 2, 6, 3, 4. There we are. Perfect. A note inside Catherine Wolf's agenda reads, "Eat Picklebrain, 11 a.m. Seems like Miss Wolf had planned to rendezvous with our victim. Let's talk to her to find out more. About our meeting with the victim? Senior Trooper Matthew, always a pleasure to meet you, but I'm afraid I'll have to bid you farewell. I have a giant ape to track. The ape has been taken care of, Miss Wolf, so you have all the time in the world to answer our questions now. Goodness! You've caught the giant ape already? You must tell me all about it. I need to know every single detail. So when did you catch it? And where is it? Is it alive? When can I see it? Actually, we do have a question for you, too. It concerns your appointment with the defunct Professor Picklebrain. Professor Picklebrain's dead? That's terrible news. I'm afraid I wouldn't be of much help, however. You see, Picklebrain and I never actually met. He could never agree on a date. And now we have that covered. I really had to dash. Lovely talking to you, Senior Trooper Matthew, but I got pictures of the ape to take. Aha! A stuffed monkey. I wonder how that plush monkey ended up in that wheelbarrow, Matthew. But you're right. The tag was signed by our victim, Cornelius. Now picture this, but 100 times bigger, Ernest. Would this Cornelius by any chance be the mayor of Concordia? And why did our victim give him a stuffed monkey? Perchance the mayor himself could elucidate this matter further. Let's go talk to him, Matthew. About the victim's gift. Ah, Matthew, the hero of the hour. I'm so glad you caught that hellish creature. Thank you, Mayor. All in a day's work. That being said, we'd like to talk to you about the ape's creator, the late Professor Picklebrain. Ernest Picklebrain's dead? It's Saturday news, though of course I barely knew the man. With all due respect, sir, do men you barely know often send you stuffed monkeys? Oh, that. He gave me that stuffed monkey to inform me his giant ape would be taking part in the World Exhibition. You can keep it if you want. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got to make sure that ape won't be causing any more trouble. Good day. I'll see you guys when these two are done. See you then. Okay, folks. The,
Robert, Paula, HFD
autopsy is just finished, but I'm going to start with the blood. Matthew, I know you have your hands full, so I will be brief. The blood sample you collected from the killer's gloves did match your victim's blood type. But I bear more news. Under closer inspection, I found traces of Musa acuminata, otherwise known as banana, mixed in the blood. You're telling us Pickle Brain's killer must have treated themselves to this widely beloved tropical fruit right before staining their hands with murder? As the bard would say, things sweet to taste prove in digestion sour. Indeed, and with Matthew on the case, the killer is one banana peel away from landing in prison.
And so far, no reports of any casualties.
Neighbors who suffered collateral damages are frustrated that another home's fire cost them dearly.
It's totally not our fault. I mean, here's this house is, kind of vacant or whatever. Oop. And the fire starts there, and then it comes over to your house, and then your house burns down.
Something else I was watching on YouTube earlier.
A home, really.
Neighbors tell us the house where the fire started isn't currently owned or occupied by anyone and doesn't have...
Matthew, please accept my endless gratitude. You've gladdened a coroner's heart by sending me a body and a murder weapon this intriguing.
So that is very possible.
I'm glad the professor's ill fate brought joy to you at least, Richard. Now, what have you found that is worth sharing? First things first, Isaac. There was a bump on Pickle Brain's skull, a clear sign he was bashed over the head. But then the blood around the professor's mouth and the severe rash on his swollen neck had me deduce your victim was indeed poisoned. Bashed one over the head first and poisoned them later? This killer didn't lack motivation. Has the culprit left any clues on the body, Richard? Not per se. What the killer left in the body, however, is where the excitement begins. Your victim was killed with the venom of the Chironex fleckeri, the most lethal jellyfish in the world. A sting results in excruciating pain and a swift death. So this Chiroflex something is our murder weapon? Yes. Your victim wasn't simply stung by the jellyfish. He was forced to swallow it, alive. Look, I got it out of his throat. This is... I know, it's thrilling. And this rather unconventional murder weapon proves your killer knows their way around biology. There's one thing that still baffles me, though. Chironex fleckeri jellyfish can only survive in the coastal waters off the Indian Ocean. So I wonder how this one made it this far. As a practitioner of the principles of delayed gratification, Richard, I trust you'll come up with a solution to this conundrum later. For now, noting that the killer knows biology is more than enough to get Matthew on the killer's path. What a crazy day, Matthew. We don't get giant apes running amok in Concordia streets every day, that's for sure. Despite the significant amount of damage the city suffered, luckily the crisis was settled and no one was hurt. But we still have a murder on our hands. Professor Pickle Brain, the ape's owner, was found lifeless by the gorilla's cage, poisoned by the world's deadliest jellyfish. But who could be behind this? Willie Conklin, the ape's handler, seems harmless enough and affectionate towards both the gorilla and his dead master. Journalist Catherine Wolfe appeared a tad callous when reacting to Pickle Brain's death and claims not to have met him. As for the mayor, Matthew, I've got news. Remember I told you that Chironex fleckeri could only survive in the coastal waters off of the Indian Ocean? Well, never mind that. I know where your killer got their jellyfish, and it's right here in Concordia.
37-year-old Michael Tiruri faces federal and state charges, including sexual assault and sexual exploitation.
We'll find out how in Chapter 2. How that is in Chapter 2. Okay, folks, we come back. Let's start Chapter 2 of Monkey Business. What an overwhelming day, Matthew. Not only do we have a giant ape running amok in Concordia streets, but we're facing another deadly enigma. Professor Pickle Brain, the ape's owner, was murdered with the sting of the world's deadliest jellyfish. Matthew, remember when I told you that Chironex fleckeri would be practically impossible to find in Concordia? Well, never mind that. I just figured out where the killer procured a specimen. It comes from Professor Picklebrain's very own lab. So Picklebrain was in possession of his own murder weapon? There's not a second to lose, Matthew. Off to this lab where living murder weapons are born and bred.
This big thing is here from American Savings Bank.
After 13 years, Sleep Train is saying goodnight and waking up as Mattress Firm. And we're celebrating with a grand opening sale. Right now, get queen mattresses for as low as $2.99. Only at Mattress Firm.
7-Eleven Hawaii and KITV are giving away a Dr. Two to the hottest musical roadshow in Vegas. Enter at all participating 7-Eleven stores statewide, where you'll find specials like this. Rockstar Energy Drinks, 16-ounce assorted flavors, 2 for $3.33. Jerky, 2 for $12.
Oh, I think I see a clue.
Great taste.
Yep.
Everyday prices, specials, and family sweepstakes.
Victim's wallet.
Your neighborhood store. Whatever your style, find it at Homeworld. Refresh your rooms and
There we are.
Homeworld's biggest spring sale. They save on furniture for every room. Your living room, dining room, bedroom, and more. Shop Homeworld and save $200 on a qualifying purchase. Plus get 12 months financing at Homeworld's big spring sale. Come in today and our home furnishing consultants will help furnish your perfect room. Your style, a world of possibilities.
Matthew, I'll be glad to take my leave of this place. Who knows what creatures are kept in these giant jars. But I see you found a poster bearing our victim's name, and it looks like he was giving biology seminars. Maybe the faded text could tell us more. And Picklebrain's initials are also on this wallet. Let us have a look inside, Matthew. What in the world? How dare you pollute my lab? This is a sterile environment. Your lab, madam? To the best of our knowledge, this is Professor Picklebrain's lab. You're only partially right. Picklebrain shares this laboratory with me. I'm Dr. Seahorn, marine biologist. Well, Senior Trooper Matthew and I are from the flying squad, and we'll need to have a word with you, Dr. Seahorn.
Months afterward, 68-year-old Guy Cooper still has a ton of questions relating to the loss of his wife Nancy. From the full face mask she was wearing, to procedures during her rescue, medical examiner's report, to him now, what's most important right now?
Well, for him, it's simple in a way. He wants to present more of the happening. So he's out talking to officials, collecting information on what type of equipment
Sponsored.
Drowning or near drowning incidents, so dangerous trends can be spotted.
Matthew, the text on the bottom of the victim's seminar poster reads, sponsored by our generous benefactor, Sir Somerset Osborne. This sounds like our next mission. Find us, Sir Osborne, and offer him a free interrogation.
Not exactly, but what we do have is anecdotal evidence that shows that there could be some hidden dangers with these new
Sir Osborne, we would like to ask you a few questions about Professor Picklebrain. He was murdered earlier today. Professor Picklebrain's dead? What a loss to the scientific community. Did you know the victim well, Sir Osborne? I wouldn't go that far. A sense of distant admiration sums up our relationship better. I have always been interested in biology. I supported Picklebrain's cause and sponsored his Wonder Biology seminars. Intellectual charity is the only type of charity I'd be bothered to partake in. Now if you'll excuse me, I'll help myself to some tea and banana scones. Sugar intake helps me digest bad news better.
58 drownings per year in Hawaii between 2006 and 2015. It's a scary number, but it reads, Cooper's also questioning the legitimacy of the autopsy report for his wife.
He is. He's a little concerned that the coroners may have been a little quick to point out an underlying health condition that may or may not have actually existed.
Nathan Eagle, interesting read and a lot more questions than answers. We thank you for joining us tonight.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Interesting article. All right, KITV is obtaining video
9 as well, a ticket stub.
Supreme Court Justice.
Matthew, this aquamarine ticket stub you found in the victim's wallet is but a blue mystery to me. Let's hope these strange scribblings don't puzzle Evie as much as they do me.
In the Kamamalu building downtown, when he worked in that basement office as the state insurance commissioner between 1984 and 1987, the law firm representing Justice Ramil didn't go after the state, but it did name
Sharing a lab with
and companies. The
Pickle Brain? Dr. Seahorn, we regret to inform you of Professor Picklebrain's demise. He died after swallowing a poisonous Chironex fleckery, which, according to our data, comes from this very lab. My Chironex fleckery is dead? Who stole my jellyfish? Who did this to my baby? Are you telling us that you bred the murder weapon responsible for Picklebrain's death? I most certainly did. I'm the only person in Concordia who knows how to breed them outside of their natural habitat. Not that I waste any of my jellyfish on Picklebrain or anyone else. Do you know how rare they are? Now when can you show me the body? I need to see the effects of my jellyfish, even posthumously. We shall do no such thing, Dr. Seahorn, but we may be seeing more of you soon.
In a video deposition taken just about 2 weeks before he died, Ramel described his exposure to asbestos.
See you guys then.
He said,
okay, folks, we have come back. Let's get the results of the ticket stub right now. Hello there, Matthew. I have news for you. Remember the weird markings on the ticket stub you found in the victim's wallet? Well, deciphering it was a bit of a challenge, but I suppose the stenography classes I took in college proved useful after all. These scribblings, as they'd appear to the inexperienced eye, are a form of shorthand, an abbreviated symbolic method increasing the speed and brevity of writing. The decoded text reads, Picklebrain, you'll soon be sleeping with the fishes. Good gracious! Judging from the macabre tone of voice, this threat must have come from the killer. Undoubtedly, but there's more. The symbol at the bottom of the ticket stub is actually a wave pattern. That and the aquamarine color of the paper show that it was issued by Concordia's Public Aquarium. And the ticket was used, which means our killer pays visits to the public aquarium. Yet not for long, for once Matthew catches them, they'll be the fish in the tank. Until then, Matthew, I agree we should go back to the street where we caught our gorilla. We might find more clues there. That's a new clue. Gotta hand it to these guys because they come up with pretty creative clues. I still wish, though, that they did have the food rewards available, but deep down, I've been able to live with it. There we go, 5 seconds. Matthew, this must have been our victim's hat. His initials are on the side. But what's that smelly brown dust all over it? We'd better take a sample. After that torn piece of paper, one can never know what clues it may hold until it is pieced back together. Do your magic, Matthew. Got it. Oh, I ended up with 8. Matthew, good job collecting a sample of this dust from the victim's hat. Now let us send it to Viola, please. This smell is foul. 12 hours. I will get the results tonight, and let's check out the torn paper. This letter reads, Professor Picklebrain's giant gorilla is prohibited admittance to Concordia's World Exhibition. So our victim wasn't supposed to compete in the exhibition? Clearly he didn't listen. Maybe you could have a closer look at the signature, Matthew. You need to figure out who was so opposed to our victim's work. Mayor's signature. Matthew, this document forbidding our victim from bringing his giant ape to the World Exhibition was signed by the mayor. He failed to tell us he objected to the ape coming to the exhibition. I agree, Matthew. We ought to question the mayor again. Prohibiting the victim entry. Mayor Castletown, we found a document forbidding Picklebrain from entering his ape into the World Exhibition, and it was signed by you. Well, of course it was. The World Exhibition is a serious event, not some freak show hosting clowns and their ridiculous creations. That Picklebrain was no real scientist. That's why he was banned from the contest. But he showed up anyway, and look what happened. His creature proved to be out of control. You seem very worked up about this, Mayor. Why wouldn't I be angry? I care deeply about the safety of my constituents. And on that note, it's high time I was at the public aquarium today. I have a new tropical fish exhibition to inaugurate. Good day. I'll let the brown substance run its course, and for now, this is Matthew. We will see you all then. Alright folks, we come back again. Let's get the results of the brown substance. Matthew, the brown substance you collected from the victim's hat might have appeared to be dust to you, but it didn't fool me. This was one generous sprinkling of robust gorilla feces. Gorilla feces in Picklebrain's hat? How ghastly! At least that explains the smell. But that's not all. I also found ginger hair mixed in the feces. Ginger hair? Our victim's hair was white. This can't have been his. But Matthew's right. The ape's handler has ginger hair. Let's go see why he'd put gorilla feces in his master's hat. About his prank on the victim. Mr. Conklin, care to explain why you smeared Professor Picklebrain's hat with gorilla dung? Oh, you found out about that. It was nothing serious. I swear, just an innocent prank on my part. Smearing someone's hat with feces? I'd hardly refer to it as an innocent prank. Fine, it wasn't a joke. It was revenge. The master mistreated me constantly. He used me as a punching bag every time his experiments went wrong. And he docked my pay for months when he was having the Blue Devils. I had to pilfer Kiki's bananas not to starve to death. I only hope you stopped at distasteful pranks, no matter how tempting murder might have seemed. Matthew, this is one puzzle of a case, but they often are, when scientific enigmas are involved. All we know for certain thus far is that Professor Picklebrain was found poisoned by one of the world's deadliest jellyfish, which he was forced to swallow alive. The unconventional murder weapon was actually bred by Picklebrain's colleague, Beta Seahorn, who believes herself to be the victim for having lost one of her jellyfish. Then there's Willie Conklin, who was constantly mistreated by the victim, but could he have held a grudge big enough to have actually killed his master? Matthew, the police just got a call from the giant ape's temporary lockup. The beast is awake and trying to escape from his cage again. Oh boy. We'll have to find out. We'll have to stop him at Chapter 3. Alright, we have come back now. Let's start Chapter 3 of Monkey Business. Matthew, this is one puzzle of a case, and we don't seem to be getting any closer to the person who served Pickle Brain his deadly Last Supper. Matthew, the police just got a call from the giant ape's temporary lockup. They say the beast is awake and trying to escape from his cage again. Ah, what a horrendous deja vu. What should we do now, Matthew? I've run out of ape capturing ideas. Fortunately, I haven't. Trust me, Matthew, I've got a brilliant idea. Let's go to the lockup. Ah, there's the beast, and it looks furious. Quick, Rose, what was your brilliant idea? Whenever Rasputin can't sleep, I sing him a song. Just listen. Hush-a-bye, baby, the night winds are sighing. Go to sleep, baby, the crickets are crying. Sleep till the dew on the green grass is winking. Sleep till the morning sun wakens you blinking. It's amazing, Rose. Your serenade seems to be to the gorilla's liking. The beast has fallen asleep. Which means Matthew and I can safely tiptoe back to Pickle Brain's lab for one final investigation.
With several streaks on the line tonight, Frankenstein. Steinbach Tilburg played like an absolute monster. 21 kills tonight for the sophomore from the Netherlands. Lifted Hawaii over number 8 Stanford in set 1, 25-22. And Hendrik Moll, team high 5 blocks. Tonight was his birthday. Happy birthday, Hendrik. Senior from Norway also added 6 25-17 Hawaii in set 2. Kamehameha grad Evan Enriquez Libero for the Cardinal. 10 digs tonight. Nearly got to this one. The score seats got the call right though. They say in. 25-22 Rainbow Warriors in set 3. And that another sweeping win for head coach Charlie Wade and his 4th-ranked UH men's volleyball team. Good evening, I'm Brandy Higa. Tonight's sweep gets Hawaii to 29 straight sets won.
Instrument kit.
The school record. And a personal record for Stein tonight. Posted his 4th 20-plus kill performance.
At this point, I think he's absolutely Player of the Year candidate. You know, I mean, he's hitting 40%. And, I mean, he's played great every phase of the game.
Got it. Lock trunk.
You know, one of the best players in the country right now.
Stanford tomorrow is again just after 7 p.m. Another impressive arm flash tonight. This one at Les Murakami Stadium. Brendan Hornum got the start for the UH baseball team in Game 2 against Sacred Heart. Hornum worked the complete game structure.
Matthew, that's the victim's name on this instrument kit. And there's an odd stain on the inscription plate. Let's collect a sample. And that wooden trunk could hold evidence. Excellent point. How about that lock, Matthew? And how did this broken frame end up here? We should restore it to find out more. Let us rally, Matthew. We need a lead if we are to capture Professor Picklebrain's killer.
And in about 3 hours, main card begins for one championship fighting event in Thailand. Boys Angela Lee undefeated at 6-0.
All right.
Heavyweight belt on the line for the very first time against Taiwan's Jenny Huang. But first, a little philanthropy.
Today, I had the amazing opportunity to come and check out Good Shepherd. I really got to interact with all the kids. And just
Matthew, is that our victim in this picture? But he looks much younger. And you're right, the other man in the photograph must be Sir Osborne. As for that little girl, I wonder who she is. One thing is for certain, however, Sir Osborne lied about the extent of his acquaintance with our victim. Let us confront him post-haste.
Practice number 9 of 15 hits the field tomorrow morning for the UH football team. Just yesterday, players not used to taking reps.
About his relationship with the victim? Sir Osborne, we found an old photograph of you and Professor Picklebrain. Why didn't you tell us the victim was more than one of your sophisticated acquaintances? Oh, should I have mentioned that before? I didn't think it mattered. Do excuse me, investigation protocol baffles me, so... Dear old Ernest had been a friend of the family since I was an adolescent. Even to this very day, we meet in the public aquarium and talk about the fabric of life. Anything from the life cycle of tadpoles to the secrets of the great beyond. What about the little girl in the picture? Was she close to the victim too? Ah, this darling soul is my baby sister Aurora, a gentle and brilliant creature. Unfortunately, she was involved in a terrible accident and is no longer among us. My condolences about your sister, Sir Osborne. The loss of a family member is always tragic. But if Picklebrain's final exit was your doing, rest assured Senior Trooper Matthew will find out.
Kicked off today with performers from around the Pacific.
Never mind that, that's my local news.
Festival lineup includes 130 cultural performances over the weekend, all with the mission to promote cultural awareness by sharing the music and dance.
PS3,
I want them to enjoy our songs, the sound of Japan,
NRE,
Japanese culture, to bring them in from their
P1C. Oh, I didn't even have to move my mouse after all. Shoot. Oh well. I see you found a strange device locked in that trunk, Matthew, but I'm still none the wiser as to how it functions. Let's send this device to Charlie. I wager he'll be excited to study it.
Fireworks by Gucci out prepping for the festival today. That company is supplying the fire.
Just as I suspected, 9 hours.
Dragon, which is part of the Sunday evening Kalakaua Avenue Parade. That parade runs from 4:30 to 8 p.m. Fireworks by Gucci also getting the shells ready today for the Maruoka Honolulu Fireworks Show Sunday night.
We have Japanese power technicians that have come to help us with this because all these shells are donated by the fireworks factories.
Blue substance. Good job collecting this blue substance from Picklebrain's instrument kit, Matthew. Examining it under the microscope will no doubt prove enlightening.
Sunday night starting at 8:30 in Waikiki.
Wait, 105.1 is Hawaiian music.
Hawaiian 105?
Yeah.
KINE?
Yeah.
They're gonna do fireworks to Hawaiian music? Bring it on. Let's go.
All right, coming up next on KITV Island News at 10 tonight.
It ain't just a political gig. It's the real gig. Notorious B.I.G. remembered capital H-I-L.
And a nice night, but could rain be returning this weekend, Pete?
Yeah, should go to be a nice night out there. We are tracking at least a chance of some scattered showers. We'll tell you when. We'll also tell you when our winds are going to die down. The winds involved could move in. That's all coming up. After the break.
I got it. Oh, but I ended up with 8 plankton. This blue substance on Picklebrain's instrument kit turned out to be plankton. But why would it be there? He wasn't a marine biologist. But Beta Seahorn is. You're right, Matthew. Let's ask her why she's been fiddling with Picklebrain's belongings.
New adventures, the next chapters, and all the great things you have to look forward to. Welcome to tomorrow.
About handling the victim's stuff, possessions. Dr. Seahorn, care to explain or you were fiddling with Professor Picklebrain's instrument kit? I beg your pardon? This is my instrument kit. Picklebrain shamelessly stole it from me and even had the nerve to engrave his name on it. He'd appropriate my things all the time, everything from bananas to precious equipment. Picklebrain is the most intolerable creature and the messiest lab partner who ever existed. If I may, Dr. Seahorn, sharing one's workspace is always a bit of a challenge. A bit of a challenge? It was impossible! Picklebrain had no respect for life. He even tried abducting one of my jellyfish so he could experiment on it. But I must remain calm. Shouting disturbs my baby axolotls. I bred them as a special donation for Concordia's aquarium. In fact, I was just about to take them to their new home. Don't swim too far away, Dr. Seahorn. You are not off the hook just yet. And she's out in the running. I'll let the strange device run its course. For now, this is Matthew. See you then. Okay, folks, we've come back. Let's get the results of the strange device from Charlie DuPont. Matthew, this device you sent me is most astonishing. I'd give a hand and foot to possess one myself. It's called a phonograph, a pioneering invention used for the mechanical recording and reproduction of sound. That lucky devil Pickle Brain must have been one of the contraption's first testers. You'll be happy to hear that I've recovered his only recorded message. Would you like me to play it for you? Testing, testing. By golly, I think it actually works. Note to self, if that pesky journalist lady comes harassing me again, I'll feed her to Kiki for dinner. Ha! A pesky journalist? Pickle Brain must have been talking about Catherine Wolfe. And it sounds like he didn't like her much. We have no time to lose, Matthew. Let's go find Miss Wolfe and question her again. About her argument with the victim. Miss Wolfe, it has come to our attention that you have been harassing Professor Picklebrain. Harassing? I wouldn't call it harassing. He should have been flattered someone was interested in his work. All I needed in exchange was exclusive coverage of the giant ape, but Picklebrain was so stubborn. I flirted, I argued, I threatened, I even attended his horrid biology seminars, but he wouldn't give in. What more did he want? For me to give my bananas to his gorilla? You sound really frustrated, Miss Wolfe. You bet I do. I haven't brought in a big story since the Alistair case, and my new boss has really started breathing down my neck. Hopefully another visit to Concordia's public aquarium will help calm my nerves and provide new inspiration. We agree that the giant ape would have made one killer story, Miss Wolfe, but hopefully not one worth killing for. At the heart of every murder lies fundamental emotion, and from our growing list of suspects, none lacked strong feelings towards the victim. Picklebrain ruthlessly snubbed Catherine Wolfe's attempts to write about him. He squabbled with his colleague Beta Seahorn over both personal and professional matters, and repeatedly mistreated and abused his employee Willie Conklin. But to certify whose wrath got the worst of them, we still need more clues, and the best place to look for them is the scene of the crime. I agree. There we are. Almost. No help from the mountain goat. Oh well. I don't see anything suspicious about this fruit crate, Matthew, but if you disagree, do inspect its contents. This bloody bat, on the other hand, is clearly what the killer used to knock our victim out. I remember Richard mentioned something about it. The blood is obviously our victim's, but the greasy substance on the bat's handle might be a vital clue. Let's collect a sample, Matthew. 8 energy, a broken jar. I stand corrected, Matthew. The label on this broken lab jar you found in the fruit crate clearly states this is what the jellyfish was kept in. This must be how the killer transported the jellyfish from the lab to our crime scene. We need to get this to Viola post-haste. I won't be filming the Pacific Bay ones, the criminal case Pacific Bay cases, because it's a carbon copy of this, of the original game here. Capital work, Matthew. Let's get the greasy substance you collected from the killer's bat to Viola on the double. $482 more, I'll go up to 403, level 403, and I'll see you guys when I get the remaining of the stars here next time. Okay folks, we've come back. Let's get the results of the broken jar right now. Matthew, I realize the urgency of this investigation, so I will keep this brief. While the killer did not leave any trace on the outside of the jellyfish's jar, I found partially dissolved threads in the jellyfish ooze that was still at the bottom of the jar. It took me a while to restore their original structure, but once I did, the silhouette of truth began to appear. The threads are of the finest silk composition, which means they came from a rather fancy garment, and their orange color speaks for itself. So you're saying our killer is wearing orange? Well, our killer will soon be swapping their orange attire for a dreary prison uniform. And I'll go ahead and speed up the greasy substance. Matthew, the greasy substance you collected off the killer's bat proved most enlightening. The substance contained, among other things, glycerin and alpha-bisabolol. Alpha-bisabolol is a soothing, anti-inflammatory and repairing agent capable of relieving sensitive skin. In this particular case, sensitive freckled skin. What are you saying, Viola? That the killer has freckles which require a special treatment? Indeed. Freckles seem charming to the ones who don't have them, but are often a nuisance for those blessed with them. The killer will be facing a much bigger nuisance than tending to their freckled skin once Matthew puts them behind bars. That leaves only one person. Matthew, I believe we have sufficient evidence to find Ernest Picklebrain's killer and put them behind bars. Let us proceed. Oh, it's not Willie Conklin. It wasn't him from the beginning. It certainly is not Catherine Wolfe, the journalist. It is not Cornelius Castletown. And it isn't Beta Seahorn. It seems to be Somerset Osborne. Let's try it. I hope I'm right. I'm pretty sure I am. Yes. It is Somerset Osborne. Somerset Osborne, you are under arrest for the murder of Ernest Picklebrain. That's preposterous. I've told you before, Ernest was a dear friend of mine, and I supported his pioneering science for years. Isn't it precisely your genuine interest in biology that qualified you to kill your dear friend with the aid of the world's deadliest jellyfish? Since when is a person's zeal for knowledge considered a violation of the 6th commandment? It isn't. But finding your banana-stained gloves with the victim's blood on them on the crime scene is a violation. Don't be ridiculous. No man has ever been arrested for eating a banana. Enough runaround. We know you murdered Pickle Brain. We found residue from your cream for freckled skin on the bat, which you used to bash the victim over your head. Fine, I murdered him, but that monster had it coming. Did you know that apes are not only the playthings in this devil's scientific playground? He experimented on humans, too. Experimenting on humans? Surely that cannot be true. I have proof. He wrecked my baby sister's life. Your baby sister? You mean the one who died? My sister didn't die, but Pickle Brain ruined her life. He experimented on her over and over again, and now she glows in the dark. Pickle Brain was a monster playing God and didn't deserve to die, didn't deserve to live. I wanted him to suffer the pain he inflicted on others, have a taste of his own poison. We feel for your tragedy and understand your wrath, but unfortunately, taking someone's life is still against the law. Sir Osborn, you're under arrest. Here's Takakura again. Sir Somerset Osborn, you stand before this court charged with the murder of Ernest Picklebrain, though rather unconventional means, I have to say. I did poison him, Your Honor, but Picklebrain was a bigger monster than the ones he created. And what he inflicted on my darling sister dashed my hopes and broke my spirit forever. Happiness in intelligent people is the rarest thing, Sir Osborn. Unfortunately, intelligence alone does not deter us from committing a very stupid act once in a while. Luckily, such existential paradoxes will soon no longer be my concern once I'm happily retired. But let's not put the cart before the horse. Sir Somerset Osborn, for the murder of Ernest Picklebrain, this court hereby sentences you to 15 years in prison. Impressive job, Matthew. That's one more killer brought to justice. Sadly enough, there is no happy ending to this story. 3 lives have been put to waste. That of the young girl, the victim, and the killer who's just thrown his future away. But you're right, Matthew. Maybe there's a silver lining to this cloud. Might the young girl's life still be saved? Shall we try to find her and investigate her fate, Matthew? Let's take a look at the other ones. Willie Conklin, cleared from the start. Catherine Wolfe, no freckled skin. Cornelius Castletown, also cleared from the start. Beta Seahorn, no orange. It was Somerset Osborn. I'll see you guys for the Gears Change 4-6. Alright folks, we have come back. Let's start the Gears of Change 4-6. Matthew, we may have put Professor Picklebrain's killer behind bars, but there is one thing I'd like to get to the bottom of. Sir Osborn made some outrageous claims concerning the victim's experimentation on his sister. But considering Professor Picklebrain did succeed in creating a giant ape, I agree we ought to look into Sir Osborn's accusations. I quite agree. I do apologize for barging in like this, but Senior Trooper Matthew, I would love to help you solve this mystery. Your services won't be necessary, Miss Wolfe. The flying squad is more than capable of investigating the matter. With all due respect, if anyone can convince people to talk, it's me. You won't regret allowing me to join the investigation. Very well. Matthew, if you wish to take Miss Wolfe with you to interrogate Sir Osborn regarding his sister's affliction, I shan't stop you. Matthew, before you depart, Miss Gunwood is here to speak to you. She says it's urgent. This, at least, I can help you with, Matthew. I'll be ready whenever you wish to speak to Miss Gunwood. Senior Trooper Matthew, thank goodness you're here. It's a gross catastrophe. As you may know, I had designed a most wonderful invention for the World Exhibition, a camera which takes photos in color. But the camera's been sabotaged. Now I'll never win the contest. The winner gets their invention put into mass production, but I can kiss goodbye to that. Sabotaged? Why, are you quite certain, Miss Gunwood? Yes, but even worse, I lost it in the aftermath of that giant ape escaping. Leave it to us, Miss Gunwood. If your accusations are true, Senior Trooper Matthew will certainly find proof. We shall locate your camera at once. Thank you so much. It was in a box when I lost it in the ape's path. Hopefully it'll still be in one piece. Now please take this as a sign of my appreciation. A gorilla mask? I think I'll pass on that. I don't think I'll be wearing that myself. But thank you very much. There's the box. There we go. We cannot be certain, but I do believe this box may house Miss Gunwood's camera. It's a fine thing that picking locks is your area of expertise, Matthew, because you must open that box at once. I'm gonna go up another level. CPW. There it is. Swiftly done, Matthew. This camera undoubtedly belongs to Miss Gunwood, and it does indeed appear to be damaged. We should ask Charlie to examine the camera at once to see if Miss Gunwood's claims of sabotage hold water. Here we go. This will be 6 hours. And let's ask Somerset Osborne about his sister. Sir Osborne, my name is Catherine Wolfe. We would like to ask you about your sister. Aren't you a journalist? I see. You've heard what happened to Aurora and you've come to exploit her misfortune. Not at all. I think what Professor Picklebrain did to her is heinous. I only wish to talk to her and shed light on her plight. Even if I wanted to help you, I couldn't. I have no idea where she is. The last time I saw her, she had resolved to talk to the professor again, to beg him for treatment. Then, Matthew, we know where we need to go. Off to the professor's lab. There we are. Nicely spotted, Matthew. This purse is embroidered with the name Aurora. This must belong to Sir Osborne's sister. Maybe something in her purse will tell us where she's gone to. Let's have a look. Aha! Aurora, I remember what I told you. You silly goose. Those snooping skills will come in handy if ever you want to become a journalist, Matthew. Something I aspire to be myself. And I see you found a note in Aurora's purse. The message reads, Aurora, remember what I told you, you silly goose? And it's signed by Lady Highmore. I've always wanted to meet Lady Highmore. She's the best gossip in town. Matthew, let's go to her estate. Miss Wolf, I've heard about you. People say you've got a talent for unearthing scandals. I'll take that as a compliment, Lady Highmore. And talking about scandal, we would like to talk to you about Aurora Osborne. We found your note to her. Ah, yes. I heard about Professor Picklebrain's demise and expected Senior Trooper Matthew would come here at some point. Please follow me. Miss Osborne is here, but she prefers to stay in the dark. Ooh. Aurora, my dear girl, please step forward. Yes, Lady Highmore. By Jove, Matthew, she really does glow in the dark. This'll make for such a good story. A story? I do not wish to be interviewed or made a subject of further mockery. Sorry, I did not mean to be callous, but maybe we could both help each other. The Flying Squad is a team of top-notch scientists. I'm sure they could find a way to return you to your natural state. Don't you think so, Senior Trooper Matthew? I do. Really? That will be wonderful. Let us strike a bargain. Give Senior Trooper Matthew a sample of your blood so that we may show it to Mr. Wells. And if you can find a cure, you'll grant me an interview. Are we in agreement? I suppose I have nothing to lose, Senior Trooper Matthew. I'll gladly give you a blood sample. I hope you can find a way to help me. So that was easy. 9 hours. And I'll let these two run their courses. And for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Okay, folks. It was out today. So now let's get the results of the camera. Matthew, I must say that Miss Gunwood's invention is quite the marvel. Or it would have been had it not been sabotaged by some scoundrel. The internal mechanism has been tampered with. So Miss Gunwood was right. Her camera was sabotaged.
A shooting along North sends one man to the hospital with a gun shell.
It was. Matthew, when Celine Georges told us that her chest baton had been vandalized, I was skeptical. And when Orville West's steam pad malfunctioned, I could not be certain whether it was tampering or a simple design flaw. But we can ignore the evidence no longer. Some foul miscreant is sabotaging the invention. But who would wish to do such a thing? Is someone trying to ruin the World Exhibition? I wish I knew, but one thing is for certain. Whoever it is, we cannot let them get away with it, Matthew. Indeed. Matthew's right. We should alert Chief Inspector Halstead to the situation immediately. She's in charge of exhibition security, after all.
Community, they're all retirees from the ocean mill.
Malawi, along with other area residents, could not identify who owned the car, which was still on the road as of Sunday morning. They added, because of how secluded the area is, questionable activity can often be seen nearby.
It's very scary, like I told Jimmy sexually have our kids have each other, you know. And I hope this kind of violent thing will come to something about it.
Police are still investigating.
Senior Trooper Matthew, pray tell that you are not here to inform me of another murder. No, but unfortunately we do not come bearing good news either. We have reason to believe that an individual is sabotaging the inventions entered into the World Exhibition Contest. Sabotage at the exhibition? Why, I had an inkling that all these mishaps are too numerous to be pure coincidence. But I could never have imagined something so nefarious was taking place under my nose. I am grateful for you bringing this to my attention, Senior Trooper Matthew. I shall reinforce security at once. Please take this money as a reward for your help.
Showers that we saw for the Big Island yesterday were light to moderate showers, mainly over upslope areas. But as we take a closer look at what's happening at the northern end of the island chain, a line of heavier showers moving onshore for Hawaii. Again,
That pickle brain had fascinating ideas. What he did with Miss Osborne was truly groundbreaking. Although I admit using an unwilling minor for his experiments was not exactly cricket. Yes, we are well aware. The real concern is, can you cure her? Not cure per se, the changes in her body chemistry are unfortunately irreversible. But I did create a treatment. As long as she keeps taking it, she will stop glowing in the dark. Wonderful! Let's go see Miss Osborne and verify the treatment for ourselves, Senior Trooper Matthew.
as the night goes on. Fairly warm with light and variable winds overnighting into tomorrow. Winds will remain light. Winds will start things off. We'll have sunshine once again by the afternoon. More clouds moving in and chance for some afternoon showers and continued hazy.
Miss Osborne, we have good news for you. We have a pill that should stop you glowing in the dark. Try one.
Just a little bit later in the show. Priscilla, back to you.
Paul, thank you. Federal investigators are looking into what caused a close call for
It works. I can't believe it. You've saved me. Well, yes and no. This is not a one-time treatment. You will need to keep taking the pills or the glow will return. No matter. If I must take 1,000,000 of these pills, I shall. Now I can live a normal life. I feel like I have been reborn with fresh energy. I wish I could share some of it with you, Senior Trooper Matthew. I'm glad that Miss Osborne now has a treatment that can help her move on with her life. Yes, but there remains an issue of concern. We still have a giant ape on our hands. Kiki, as her handler calls her, is tranquilized for now, but what can we do with her? She can't stay with us. Senior Trooper Matthew, that's why I came to see you. There's a zoo that wants Kiki, and they'll take me on too. Splendid news. The only problem is they are demanding her growth records, feeding regimen, so many documents, and I can't seem to find any of them. They should be in Kiki's cage, but the place is such a mess. Can you help me, Senior Trooper Matthew? Never fear, Mr. Conklin. We will find those documents and help get Kiki to the zoo.
Here is that scene. Damage to that power pole and power lines that cut power to thousands, and they were on for several hours. There were also caused major slowdowns on Farrington Highway, but again, everything is fixed and traffic is back to normal.
Need to fly from Lihue to Kona or vice versa? Now you can on Hawaiian Airlines. Hawaiian launched its once-daily non-stop service between Hawaii's Lihue Airport and the Big Island's Kona International Airport. They're looking at some photos from the celebration earlier today. Airline officials say this 263-mile route is a first for Hawaiian Airlines, making it the longest neighbor island route for Hawaii.
Our partners at Maui News report that Boeing Gas is planning to build a new storage facility for propane tanks near Kanaha Pond at State Wildlife Sanctuary. That's in Kapalui. The paper reports the company paid $4.2 million in February for the 2.5 acres of land on Hawaii. Location is next to Mountain Music. It was previously
There we go.
Kanaha Professional Plaza. Planning directors tell the paper the storage facility approved by the Maui Planning Commission.
Cool, 400 more. Could those be the elusive documents Willie was looking for? We better grab your Justin kit to be sure.
Parks and Rec officials say the mayor's idea isn't to close
we go. This folder reads, The Care and Feeding of Kiki, a Step-by-Step Regimen. This is exactly what Mr. Conklin was looking for, Matthew. These documents will enable him to place Kiki in the Concordian Zoo. Let's get these documents back to Mr. Conklin straight away. Mr. Conklin, we found the documents. You and Kiki will be able to go start your new life at the zoo. Thank you so much, Senior Trooper Matthew, and please come visit Kiki and me whenever you want. Well, Matthew, we've taken care of both Aurora and Kiki, but there's still the matter of sabotage which we must investigate further. Yes, we must. Who would dare to destroy the fruits of inventive genius? Someone could sabotage my DNA machine next. All inventions will be presented tomorrow for the contest. We've already seen many of them, and we must ensure that no more are harmed. Matthew, you must be extra vigilant during the contest. We shall be counting on you. March 16th. That's in 4 days. That's on Thursday. Okay. Five new ones. Four new ones. Three. Four new ones. Take a look. Okay. Okay, that's going to do. I'll see you guys on March 16th. See you then.